What's up, guys? This is Ask REL, episode 7. Proud of myself for sticking with this long. You know, you try this stuff sometimes, it just you think it's cool and you got a good idea, and then it's hard to keep up with, and you let it go. But we're on episode 7. Got a bunch of questions. I was at Vanderbilt University this past Monday and Tuesday, and for those who have been watching the REL Days and docuseries episodes, I wanted to film that. Adam was unable to come with me on that trip, but I wanted to film that whole thing, but I would have had to hold a phone. And Adam, that's what I was gonna say to you. I wanted to try to get myself to hold a phone, but it's just like, I'm just not that dude. I'm good with being filmed, but like for me to whip out a phone and fucking show Jerry Stackhouse, and it's just not me. I posted one little picture on the story, if anybody saw that picture on the story, working in the office, which was pretty cool. But it was a cool experience. Learned and got to see, the Vanderbilt operation. I've been to numerous practices, numerous colleges, basketball programs, and it's cool to see the little nuances, but there's a lot of symmetry in everything that you see. But that was great. And a lot of the questions that I get too, it's funny, like they get as I'm sitting there, as I'm talking to, coaches and staff and on that little trip, a lot of the questions that I get asked, they get brought up in regular conversation with coaches and with basketball people and managers. It's just funny, you have these conversations all the time, and it's so regular to me. And I think of people who out there don't understand all these things and don't have these conversations on a day-to-day. Everything is like a reach, and everything is like, I need this answer, and it must be something I don't understand. And it's funny, like when you're in the business, it's just literally regular conversation, and all of these things get brought up all the time. So that's why it's valuable. That's why I have these experiences, and I'm able to try to help some people understand things, and I come back to you with the information. So let's get into this.
I'm a new coach coaching 8 and 9-year-olds. What are some of the shoe circuits in the Los Angeles area?
Okay, in the Los Angeles area, I'm never gonna bullshit you. I have no clue. Zero clue. I don't know what shoe circuits are out there, just because the stuff that's relevant for, shoe circuit stuff is touching states, right? So like if you're in Pennsylvania, you can't play for a shoe circuit team in Atlanta. The states don't touch each other, so it's like regional like that. So I focus on that stuff the most. And even some of the kids that I deal with who are out of state, they still at least touch Pennsylvania. So I really don't know. I have no idea about Los Angeles area shoe circuits. And the other thing is 8 and 9-year-olds, I'm gonna jump this to a different part of this, which is probably more important and more relevant for this question. 8 and 9-year-olds don't play on a shoe circuit. So to me, the way that I look at it, and you're probably asking this question, like the relevance, shoe circuit is only relevant basically at, it could be 15U in some programs, not could be, it is 15U, 16U, 17U. What do I mean by that? That means if you're at least not in 9th grade, on a shoe circuit team, or not really, it's gonna be very, very unlikely that any college coach is gonna be interested in you. They're probably not gonna be recruiting you, probably not even gonna waste time watching you. Now, there are exceptions. We have a kid in the program who, I think before he even got into 9th grade, already got his first Division I offer, but that was different. He was 6'10", as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. But there's no like shoe circuit stuff. Now they might be branded as, a Nike thing or an Adidas thing or whatever, but in the realm that everybody out there understands what shoe circuit means, it's not, that's not 8 and 9-year-olds. It's not even relevant. So, but I will tell you, if you can get involved with, I'm just giving an example, say there's an Adidas 3SSB program in your area, and they have younger teams all the way down with the same name and brand and things like that. It could or could not be beneficial sometimes to try to just get involved. 8 or 9 is gonna be irrelevant, but let's say a 7th or 8th grader, maybe even a 6th grader, it's nice so that people know you. They know about you, you get to know them, you get to know them on a personal level, get familiar with their programming and their coaches and their organization, just how they do things. That could help. Also could hurt though, because that's more time people have seen you. It's a bigger sample size. So they probably seen a lot of bad, just like they've seen a lot of good. So they might not want to move you up into that, 16 or 17U program when the time comes. You never know, but that's the relevance, I guess, of 8 and 9-year-old stuff as far as shoe circuit stuff goes.
Should a big who is 11 years old focus on rebounding and low post moves in order to get on a team?
No, see, I believe that every kid, no matter what size, needs to just learn how to play basketball. And to me, playing basketball means everything: shooting, dribbling, passing, layups, footwork, everything skill-based possible. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be more valuable if you can do whatever is asked of you. So you may have, I know you said he's 11. Let's go with the 11-year-old example. That's usually 5th grade, could be 6th grade. You know, maybe you are the biggest kid on that 5th grade team. So that coach or whoever's dealing with you, it might be a requirement for you to be mainly a rebounder. Maybe you have a bunch of little guards who do a whole bunch of shooting and scoring on your team, and you're not going to touch it much anyway because you're not as good as them at that. So what do you got left? You got to rebound. You got to be able to catch the ball in the paint and get some putback buckets. And if you got 3 little guards in 5th grade who are scoring, I could promise you they're probably not throwing you the ball much in the low post. You know, so it's all relevant to your team. Let me jump it all the way up to, you know, high major Division I basketball. A kid could be 6'10", 6'9". Maybe he was the best scorer and dribbler on his high school team, but then he gets to, you know, the college level, and maybe he's the second tallest kid on the team. And that coach is like, you know, I know you can dribble, pass, do all these things like a guard, but on my team, I need you to get under there and rebound because you're the tallest one on the team. Sometimes it's just straight up logic. So you want to have the ability to say, okay, coach, you need me to do that? I got you. You want me to do this? I got you. Okay, you're going to give me a leash to do these things and go out here and do some of this other stuff that I want to? I could do that too. That's really the answer. You don't want to like say, I need you to be a post player or I need you to be a guard. You just got to be able to play basketball. And I use this example with the kids all the time in the gym. Kyrie Irving, clearly a small guard, right? Has played the 1 and 2 his whole career, but he will also take you in the post. He will post up guards. His footwork and his shooting ability is so, and his reads are so good that he takes all that guard work that is out on the perimeter and he takes it down into the post. I got you closer to the rim now. So it's going to be really hard to guard me in there too. So I would say, you know, start out and then work your way down. It's going to be much easier for, you know, a kid to be the best, you know, the point guard on the team and the best ball handler, and then funnel down into being a big man versus a kid who's only ever played big man, limited dribbles under the hoop, and then try to move them out, right? It's just common sense on a lot of these things. So try to be as good as you can be, but I would start out and move your way in.
What are your thoughts on kids that play multiple sports? Should they narrow it down to just hoops whenever they get to high school?
I love this question, something I got to start hitting on more. So here's how I view things, right? It's about priority. So if you're a hooper and you have a dream to play college basketball, a dream to play in the NBA, whatever it is, you know, that I assume you don't also want to play in the NFL, right? I hope not. But you go with priority. So if that is what you want to do, basketball needs to be your first priority. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't play other sports. I love other sports. I love numerous different other sports, and I always loved playing them too. But here's my thought on it. You know, obviously the younger they are, 6, 7, 8 years old, you can get away with more. You know, you could play 3, maybe even 4 sports and have a bunch of different seasons where you're on a team. But you run into trouble when I'm going to go play baseball. Now I'm a hooper first, but I'm going to go play baseball and not touch a basketball for 2 to 3 months. That's where you run into trouble. And so as you get older, I think you need to look at it like this. It's like, hey, let's go with a 6th grader. How old, did you say how old this kid was? No, you didn't, but you said going into high school. So he's obviously under high school, right? So 7th, 8th grader. If I'm a hooper, I might play baseball or whatever. Me personally, I'm not playing football. I'm not letting my kids play football either. If you're telling me you want to be a hooper, why? Simply because of injury. We don't have time for that shit. It's too competitive. Basketball is too competitive. And every other sport for that matter too. And not that you can't get hurt in other sports, but obviously football is going to give you the highest chance of fucking yourself up. So here's how I would do it. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to play baseball, but when I have a basketball workout or a basketball a AAU game or a summer league something, I'm not going to baseball that day, you know? And if it's so bad that it's like, all right, well, you're on the team, but you just keep missing everything because there's basketball stuff, at that point, get off the team. You can still play other sports like sandlot style, you know? And I know it's not ideal, but Like let me go with, like, I love tennis, right? Or I loved golf even in high school. I loved golfing, but I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna play on the golf team and take away that springtime that I needed to be doing AAU and all these other things. I'm gonna go play golf in my leisure time when I have time. It doesn't mean I can't play the sport. And people always come up with this argument that I do believe in a little bit, but not a ton, especially older people. They want to say, well, football helps with this, that, and the third. And when you play soccer, it helps you with, look, I don't really buy into that. I think just being an athlete helps, period. So just out there doing athletic shit on a day-to-day basis, especially from a young age, that is what helps in general. You're just learning how to move, how to balance, hand-eye coordination, confidence. You're just learning how to be an athlete. I don't think that you can say because you go play football that you're going to automatically be tougher and it's going to make you tougher in basketball. I don't believe that that's true. When it comes to toughness and intangibles and shit, I think you either are or you aren't. But let's use people saying that soccer for footwork or something like that. I think a kid, use myself, I've never played soccer, but I've always been coordinated, talented, athletic, and have good footwork. I guarantee if you put me in some soccer thing, I'm gonna be goofy and stuff, but I'm not gonna have trouble figuring out, the footwork. I could do whatever you need me to do with my feet. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a piece of it where you either have it or you don't. But that said, there's nothing wrong with playing soccer. And I could probably learn some mental things, just like I learned things about basketball by playing tennis, which is mostly mental. Tennis is such a mental game, and I play it a lot. So being able to kind of be mentally tougher to win tennis matches and win tennis points has made me, kind of snap into that mode and have more clarity about what confidence and a good mental state means in basketball. So it can definitely help there. But again, at the same time, like if I'm in a college basketball career or a high school basketball career, I'm not gonna say, hey, because tennis helps my mental, I'm gonna also go play on the tennis team and miss 3 months of basketball. Like, you can't do that. Again, a lot of this is logic. People just like to throw shit out that sounds good, but that's really emotional with no practicality to it. So you have to understand your priorities, play your other sports, enjoy them. What about just for fun? Like, I love playing other sports. It's because I like the sport, right? So go play them, but you can't take steps back in your main priority because you're being bogged down by other seasons and other sports. So get involved with other sports, but I say that to say, yeah, I mean, the specific question was, should they cut them down by high school? Like, that's not, listen, if you're not cutting it down by high school, you take yourself out of the elite category, unless you're some freak athlete and some gifted kid. So they need cut down by like 5th grade, 6th grade, truthfully, as far as priority. Play them all, do what you want to do. But as far as seasons and taking up time and all that, nah, I mean, I've been doing this too long and seen too many kids to understand that once your kid hits 6th grade, we have a very, very good idea of how good that kid's gonna be. Now, the nuance between it, that can vary heavily, but people hate hearing this. I've been saying this for years. I can tell by the time a kid's in 6th grade whether he has a legitimate chance to be a Division I basketball player or not, or like, of course there are, there's one-offs and 1 in 7 million chances, but overall, your window closes very fast. So I would not mess around. I would keep my prioritized is what I would do.
What are your thoughts on posting highlights from a kid's game? Some parents don't like it.
Okay, I assume you mean just like posting them on social media, like on Facebook or whatever, for people to just see it and give your kid their praise. Look, whatever makes you happy, fucking do it. I don't care what you do. I think everyone should just do what genuinely makes them happy. You're gonna run into a problem where with you and your kid, or like anything else, if you're posting stuff and it's getting 2 likes and you're like, insecure about it because you got 2 likes, I mean, then you got issues. But yeah, post your kids' stuff. I mean, from a exposure standpoint, I can definitely say I have seen kids' personal brands be built on social media as they got older and became high school recruits and prospects. I've seen it both help and hurt, in different situations. Marginally though, nothing crazy, but I've seen it help and hurt a little bit. And if I have a high school kid, I would definitely tell them to post them and the parents should absolutely be posting their highlights out there, because you just never know who's going to see it and whose interest you may pique, from the tone of the question, it sounds like it's a little bit more of a cynical approach. I could be wrong, but maybe you don't like, you see other people always posting their kids, and it's in a braggadocious way, and you're thinking your kid's actually garbage while you posting them. If it's that sort of thing, I don't get involved in that, man. That's emotional, and I don't care. But as far as practicality, yeah, it definitely helps to have a brand as you get into high school on social media. But anything before high school, man, it's just for clicks and likes and attention and being happy, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But does it matter? No. All right, so that's it for Ask REL episode 7. Appreciate you guys always submitting the questions, and I know the views have been going up on YouTube for these episodes, so we're absolutely going to keep doing them. I'm going to try to keep giving you guys a little bit more insight like I did at the beginning of this one, just on random shit. If you're not checking out REL Days episodes, check those out. It's basically, my day-to-day operation as, a basketball entrepreneur, and just things that go into this, just give you a look behind the scenes of some of the stuff that goes on. And a lot of it is important because you'll see a lot of the answers to these questions that you're gonna ask right in those REL Days episodes. Like I was saying, when I'm having conversation with college coaches, a lot of those answers just pop up because it's natural. This is the life that I live. This is the life that, people in this basketball space live. So check it out. Hope you get some value out of it. At REL Academy on pretty much every social media handle, relacademy.com, to see what we're about and how we might be able to help you.